In this lecture, we're going to kick off with the practical aspect of our project. First focusing on creating a Google Sheet that will act as a database for all of the data that we collect. This sheet will store the tweets that we want to transform into haiku poems, the corresponding tweet links, and the haikus generated using the ChatGPT API. To begin, we need to create a Google Sheet. I assume that most of you are already familiar with Google Sheets, but if you need the correct links, you can find them in the Project Resources lecture in this section. Now, once you have a blank sheet open, we can start by giving it a title. And I'm going to title this sheet Generate Replies, as that's the purpose of our project, so it just keeps it very simple and very clear. Next, we must create two sheets within this Google Sheet. So we want one that is titled Tweets, and then we want to create another sheet, and we'll want to title that sheet Haikus. So for our project, the Tweets sheet will store all of the data that we pull from Twitter, while the Haikus sheet will store data once we've populated it with the generated haikus. In the Tweets sheet, let's edit a few things. So we need to create two columns. In the first column, what I'm going to do is enter tweet, and that will hold the content of the tweets we collect. Then in the second column, what I'm going to do is enter link, and that's going to hold the direct link to each tweet. So these two columns are sufficient for our tool. We don't need to add any more in this specific sheet. Let's now go over to the haikus sheet, and we'll create column titles here as well. So what we'll want to do here is create three columns. So we'll want tweet for the actual tweet content, we'll want link for the direct link to that tweet, and then we want an additional third column, and we'll want to title that haiku. And this is where the generated haikus will be inserted. At this point, you can adjust the formatting of the sheet to your liking. So for example, I'll center the haikus sheet, and I'm also going to center the tweets sheet. Again, this is more personal preference, but you can customize them to your preference. But just make sure that you replicate everything else in this sheet as demonstrated. So in the tweets sheet, you have a column titled tweet, and then another column titled link, and in the haikus sheet, we have three columns. We have tweet, link, and haiku. And that wraps up this lecture on creating the Google Sheet to store our tweets. As we move forward, we'll work more with this sheet, connecting it to Zapier and integrating it with Twitter. But for now, thank you for following along. Please join me in the following lecture where we'll dive into Zapier and connect Twitter to our Google Sheet.